Well, I've been on this property for a long time. You know, me and Lisa's been married for 40 years. So I say, when I was a small kid, we used to come down and go swimming right there.
Mm-hmm.
And they always told me when, we first dating and first got married, they always talked about strange things that happen here. And I was like everybody else. Yeah, right. You know. But then when Grandma would call and say it's back, she's seen the silver guy. The big guy. One time she said it had a big thunderstorm and they had that white picket fence all along the front of the yard. And she said every time the lightning would strike, she could see the lightning shine down on this tall, big person. And she said it had like silver back. She said just like glowed white.
So
You
you were
know.
there when she called you guys and told you
Yeah,
about it.
we come over here. We didn't see nothing. She was scared.
What'd you think at that point?
It's got to be somebody, messing around. Was nothing here. I came out here in the rain, looked around. I didn't see nothing.
Mm-hmm.
No evidence of anything even being around. But there was there were a lot of things that it's been going on for years. It goes back before. When the guy that drowned in a creek right behind us, and they said there wasn't no water in his lungs.
What do you think happened to him?
What I think happened to him, he was a very nice guy, they told me. He had a lot of tools, and he got a check every month. And I think that he was over there in that red shed. And that red shed's been here for years, 60 plus years or more. And I think somebody came by here and knew he got paid and asked him to borrow some tools. And when he went in there to get the tools, they hit him over the head, dug him to the creek, took his money. That's what I think happened. I don't know how I know that. It seems like it makes the most logical sense because that red shed, we've had two houses burned right next to it. We've had a flood that washed everything away. That red shed's still here. You get a real weird feeling when you go in there. It's a different kind of feeling, a weird sound of
Mm-hmm.
nothing. And one time it had a dirt floor, and then over the years they added wood to it, and so the wood's gone. We always wanted to maybe dig around there, but nobody's got enough nerve to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And when Shelby was a little kid, him and his cousin Rainey would sleep in that thing at night. But was you ever in that shed? I didn't think so. Adam says no. Oh, but yeah, it's been around a long time. The one thing that really changed my whole mind about exactly what was going on is we had that camper, that motorhome, backed in right there. And me and Lisa were sitting there in the lawn chairs, and it was almost dark. It was pretty dark. And she said, "Do you hear that?" I thought, had the air conditioner on. I said, "No." About this time of the year, no, I didn't hear that. She says, "Something's in the creek." Oh, really? I said, "It's probably just deer. Deer cross here all the time." So I said, "Let's go look at it." So I got my flashlight out of the camper. I got a pretty good sized flashlight. And we walked around the corner here, and I looked right over through there, and I could see something walking through the woods through here. It's like black. Just walking through the woods. And Lisa's going, "What is that? What is that?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "It's got to be a deer." I mean, I was trying to look through it, with a flashlight, and then I didn't see it no more. And there's like a big sycamore, it's a big V. And right between the sycamore, I could see like a brown leg. That's all I could see. And I said, "It's a deer." I had that flashlight looking at it. "It's a deer. Look, I can see the brown leg." And then I seen the top move and then the bottom move, and it was walking kind of away from us, kind of, about 11:30, 11 o'clock, angle going that way. And the least thing I was thinking about was getting my phone out and video it. Otherwise, I would get away from it. So I started backing up with my light on it, and it was walking away, and I seen it turn and look just like that. And I seen two silver eyes look at me and right back. Just a second. Just a whoop, whoop. It was done. And I said, I seen eyeballs. And I said, I gotta go get at them. So we was backing up, and Lisa says, don't leave me, don't leave me. She was backing up with me. And I was looking around, and she said it turned around and it went back. I didn't see that part. I thought it was headed toward the road. So I was going to get at him because he was in front of the house making some burgers for everybody. And I wanted to go tell him it was headed to the road. Go look at it, Seen something, And I went up there and told him. Lisa went to the camper, got inside the camper, shut the door. And be honestly, if something that big, a camper ain't going to stop it. It was tall and it was black and it looked like it had no head, neck. It just one big glob, and it turned its head like that to look back. You see everything move, and I'm just going by memory like it just happened. I get these chills when I talk about it because it was so happened so fast. And I got up there and told Adam, I said, it's headed toward the road, headed toward the road. He goes, what? I said, Bigfoot. He's like, what? So we went to the road and looked down through there. We stood there for a long time, and Lisa's going, hey, I'm in a camper, come back here. So we come back around here, and she told Adam what she seen, and I didn't know that she watched it turn around and go back toward the creek. It must have went back across the creek, and she heard it, when she was over there by the camper. That from that point on, it's like anything else. You're not a believer until you see it for yourself. Once you see it, I can't even go in these woods without seeing it. I mean, I can look over there now, and I can visualize that thing over there. It's just one of those things that you sound stupid when you're telling it. People ain't gonna believe you until they see it for themselves. But there's been strange things happen here over and over.
So after you saw that in the woods, then you realized that something was truly going on here. What
Something.
unfolded after that?
Well, the house burnt, and he called and said the house was on fire. That camper was parked right behind it. So I come over here, rolled everything, slid the slide in, and I got it started, and got it over here and parked over here by the creek. Well, we wanted to, stay over here because there's people going to steal stuff. We had some guy trying to steal stuff, and we confronted him, me and Adam did. That I stayed over here, so I parked a camper over there in Uncle Bob and Audrey's land right next door. And there was no electric or nothing because everything burnt, so I used their electric and their water off their pole here. And I don't remember what day of the week it was, but we was in there and we was asleep. And I heard the whole camper, it's got hydraulic jacks that go down, self-leveling and all that. Something came down and it smacked the side of that camper. I mean, I thought it was an owl, something big. Wham! And the whole camper kind of moves, and I said, what was that? I don't know. He said, let's go out and look. I ain't gonna do that. So I ain't gonna go out there and say hello. What are you doing here? What are you smacking the side of the camper for? So next morning, I get up, I go outside before Lisa gets up, and I'm expecting to find a big owl or something where it smacked the side of the camper and it was laying on the ground. Wasn't nothing anywhere. And as I was walking around the camper, kind of looking, because I knew we're kind of in the area we were hit. And the camper, it needs buffed. It's kind of dull finish. And as I was walking to the side of it, I could see like a real shiny spot on the side of the camper. And I got to looking at it, and I was like, that's a handprint. And it was like a big old, I called Adam. I said, man, you ain't gonna believe this. I told him the story. He came over here and he took pictures of it and everything. But my hand's like this, and it's like this. And it's a big hand. I mean, it looked like it whacked it open palm. I just wham like that, and it kind of skidded a little bit, you know. And I was like, I knew it, you know. Something hit it. I knew it. So week or two go by, you know, and something, you know, that camper's got the door handle where you pull it, you open the door, shut it. And it's got a specific jingle to the door handle, you know, kind of cling, you know. And the door's locked. And we was sitting there watching TV and I heard cling, cling, cling. I said, who's here now? So I get up, open the door, ain't nobody anywhere. And they tell you not to, if you hear something like that, you're not supposed to open the door. It's kind of inviting them in, you know, when you open the door. I didn't think of that until after the fact. That was strange, you know. Things like that's happened like 3 or 4 times, that door handle of that camper. And before we had this camper, we had another camper, and it was a pull behind, a bumper pull, and it was parked there. And we were sleeping in the bed, and it was nighttime, and we were, just about asleep. And I was looking out, you know, the window, and I see headlights, like somebody pulled up, and the lights kind of went by, you know. I thought, I wonder who's here. So I get up, I go to the door, open it up, nobody's here. I said, wow, it's weird, you know, seeing them lights go by, you know, like somebody with a flashlight, you know. So I went back in bed, and I lay back down. I told Lisa, I said, there ain't nobody here. And at this point, we're kind of getting used to stuff happening, you know. I mean, it's happened. Stuff has happened. We've seen people standing in the house, in the old house, and there wasn't nobody in there. And I lay back down that bed, and I stare at that window, and I see the lights go back across, and it had bedroom window on the door, and then the kitchen window, and it went straight by all of them, just like that.
A light?
Yeah, it was real bright, like a headlight, just like that. I got up. I thought they was messing around with me, and I got out and walked around. There ain't nobody anywhere. There was no lights, nothing. I don't know what it was.
What color was the light?
White.
White, okay.
Yeah, it was white. I mean, in the window is white.
Uh-huh.
You know, if it had anything, you know, there could have been maybe a little yellow in it. I don't know, you know, like headlight, you know, but it was mainly white. Don't know what it was.
Why do you think it slapped the camper?
I don't know. Wanted our attention. I always said that if it wanted to hurt us, we would be hurt. You know, there's no doubt about it. And I'll tell you something else really weird. You know, we'd talked about this before, me and you, how you start seeing things like they show up, and then somebody gets sick, or somebody, you know, gets an illness or something. When I seen that, whatever that was, that tall, black, hairy thing, it wasn't but about 3 or 4 months. You know, I had like a pain in my side, you know, and I went to the doctor and ended up saying I had cancer, which I'm fine now, but it's like they show up and they're tell you, you know, something's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, this place has been flooded numerous amounts of times, and we've seen those things around here numerous amount of times, you know, and everybody here has seen
Did you hear that?
stuff. Yeah. What was that?
I don't know. That was scary though. Wonder if Adam heard that.
I think he went in the house. Oh, he's up there on the back porch. But Grandma warned us. You know, she said there's something down here. She said you need to get rid of it.
Yeah, I've noticed that too with a lot of my guests. You know, they start having encounters like that where these things are coming up to their house, and shortly after,
There it is again.
yeah, that was not a cow.
No.
The first time, what I heard was like, I don't know how to explain it, like a deep voice. That was kind of scary, actually.
That was deep.
I doubt these mics picked it up. But yeah, a lot of guests, they end up getting some sort of cancer, something, or they pass away
Yeah.
shortly after. Some people are healed after they have a sighting.
Yeah.
The cancer goes away if they already had it before that or whatever illness they had.
They said that mine's not a, I don't have the cancer gene in my blood. It was strictly environmental, so, you know.
They told you it was from Roundup.
Yeah, it's from Roundup. That's what they said. You know, and, you know, it's Roundup, and, you know, I've dealt with a lot of chemicals from where I retired from, but, you know, I used Roundup there, you know, but I doubled up on it. I don't know. I don't have no idea, you know, but
I'm sure it affects these things if people are spraying weeds and stuff.
yeah.
Maybe they know all about it.
Yeah, and it's just like yesterday when we heard the little, was it yesterday or the day before? We heard the little puppy yelping down in the woods. I always said that you don't want to go out there and look for it. Not unless you can visually see a puppy that's yelping in the woods. You don't walk into these woods looking for a puppy because you might not find what you're looking for. I mean, we went down through there and found those bones and called in the cops, and they took a forensic, you know, all this stuff, trying to figure out exactly what it was. And, you know, Adam wanted to get the bones. We didn't want to touch them, you know, because they're bad enough stuff. But we went back down there to get them, and they were gone.
Really?
Yeah, they weren't, I mean, it's like they were gone. You see where they were at, but they're gone. Someone got them, or something got them. You know, they always talk about, you know, the family, Lisa's family always talks about the woods and the creek here go all the way for miles, goes through Killarney and all the way through Ironton. And they say that her aunt seen a partial skeleton sticking out of a bank up there when she was a young girl. And she was told not to touch it, leave it alone. So we went up there looking, we never did find no. So it's either washed down the creek or, we don't know. I mean, there's something in these woods that we can't explain.
You guys have found arrowheads here, or
Yeah.
you know people that have? Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a couple of weeks ago. My Lisa's uncle Bob, he was walking across there getting ready to go home, go back to where he lives in South County, and looked down, there was an arrowhead, and he said, look what I found. I mean, it was a perfect arrowhead. And he showed it to me, and it had dirt all over it, and I was wiping it all off, and he looked down and said, well, there's another one. That's the only two we found. The second one was broke. You know, it was like one that had been broken in half, but it still had where they tie it on, the arrow. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
You and I saw those lights, those orbs at the killing fields.
Yeah.
You came up because Adam was camping there. You and Shelby joined us, and you're like, "What are those lights? Like
Yeah.
these orange lights moving."
Yeah, they're going down through there. I didn't even know what was around. I just seen them going through the woods, and you're like, that's down there by the field. And then you said you called. Did you call him that then, or did you call him that?
Yeah, I texted him right after we
texted him,
saw it,
that's
because
what it
we saw
was,
it
yeah.
2 different times that night, and I asked him, "Are you driving your side-by-side around those fields?" He said, "No." Which I didn't hear anything. That's why I was questioning. I was like,
Yeah.
normally you can hear him coming all the way from his house, and I just saw orange lights, and then they went back the other way.
Well, he's always talked about seeing those
Mm-hmm.
lights down there and stuff, but I think that there's a family here. There's got to be, because we found footprints, and where Adam lives and here is about maybe mile and a half through the woods, 2.5 miles. You take the road. I don't know. Never really measured. Not far, And the other night, they was over there and they put that blaster thing and they timed it. It took 7 seconds before I could hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they done that a couple of times, and then something hollered back. And the first one was loud. I mean, it was like it was, yeah, I mean, it was really like, whoa, like that. He was like, did you guys hear that? And they go, yeah, we heard that. And the next one was real faint. Ah. The next one was, ah. And I told him, so I've heard 4 of them, and that's enough. I'm going in. It's like it's wanting to know where the other party was.
Mm-hmm. That's what I noticed last night. The past 2 nights that I've camped here, right when it gets dark or right at nighttime, they start hollering like they're trying to find each other. And then the rest of the night, they just kind of shut up. So I think they're all spread out around the land during the day. And then at night, they find each other to hunt or to roam the woods. And they gather at nighttime. Because
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like they're looking for each other, like turkeys in the morning. Once they get off the roost,
Yeah.
they're yapping and gobbling at each other, and they all get together, and then they shut up once they're all
Yep.
together.
They're nocturnal.
Yeah.
Well, me and Lisa was down there, they call it Catfish Hole, and we was fishing, and wasn't doing very good. And Lisa had a lawn chair. She was sitting there, and I kept telling her, I said, "Man, you smell that?" I was like, "Man, that smells. It's like this. I don't know if you want to say fertilizing the fields or it was a garbage smell. It was like rotten vegetables and meat, that kind of smell. It was a terrible smell. I kept smelling it. You smell it and you wouldn't smell it. And then you smell it again and it's like, there it is again, like smell it. And she's sitting there, she said, I was down there where it's flat, I was down there. And she says, are you freaked out right now? I was like, no, why? She said, come here. I go, why? She said, come here. So I walk up there and she said, look, across the creek. And, it was springtime. It wasn't really a lot of leaves like now. And she said, look. So I looked through the woods and it took me a minute and I see something. It was standing beside a big tree and I could see one arm. It was a light colored tree because I could see the arm. And I could see it stick its head. And I was holding on to that tree, looking around like this. And then you see that arm go down. You see this arm come up and look around this way. And he's standing there looking at us. So I get my phone out and I was trying to zoom it in. As my phone doesn't do a very good job. And I said, we need to go. She goes, they're not bothering us. I said, yeah, I know, but if they do, they're going to be here before we can even get up, before you can even get out of that chair, because big feet's going to be splashing across that creek. There's not much we're going to be able to do. Then he never did, he never did do anything, but I went back down there a couple of days later and I was looking, and that same tree up in there, there was nothing there. So whatever was there looking at us, it had left.
I think I was just watching you guys fish.
Yeah, I think it just watched us fish and see if we was gonna maybe, catch a fish and gut it and leave the stuff for them. I don't know. But it was, it was, that was pretty neat. How you're seeing something up there, look around, trying to figure. You see his head move back and forth, like doing that. Instead of staring at it, just staring at us. I don't know if it was a young one or, a big one, but it was behind a tree looking at us, sticking around like that. I mean, they could stand still and you wouldn't see them.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Look like they're wearing ghillie suits.
yeah, only black.
Mm-hmm. Black, brown,
Black.
whatever
They
color.
look they blend right into the side of a tree.
Mm-hmm.
That's why everybody says, "Oh, you always keep on your sixes or whatever they call that." I said, "You need to keep it on your sevens." I said, "You look around you, but you need to look up
Mm-hmm.
because these things. I mean, we've had limbs just like the other day. One limb fell out of a tree, no reason, just decided to break in half and fall
It
out of a tree.
cracked before it fell.
Yeah,
You heard it snap before it fell. And it was kind of moving for a little bit even afterwards, like something was up there. I looked, I didn't see anything.
I mean, they're probably looking at us right now. We don't even know it,
Yeah.
but they can see that,
Mm-hmm.
and they know. That's like a high-powered rifle to them. You don't get around that thing. We don't know what it is. It scares us.
That's what I feel like. We bring all the gear out to places like this, and they kind of don't interact. Maybe they know they're being hunted, or it's something that's not good. Like we're trying to catch them.
Yeah, that's what like. Stay away from that. That's not good.
It makes sense though, because when you're out here taking out the trash, you'll see a deer, and she just keeps eating and doing what she's doing. But when you walk out there in camo and a bow, they take off. It's like they know.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, you guys use that. What's that called? A hex suit now.
Mm-hmm.
That's supposed to be the number one thing. But
Yeah,
when
the
you're hunting,
Faraday cage
yeah,
material.
it's. We've had some animals come up missing here. Cats, and, especially cats. I mean, we got a lot of micers around here. That they do a pretty good job keeping the mice and the snakes away. But they just come up missing. I don't know where they went. I don't know what happened. You might find a little bit of something out in the woods. You walk around like something grabbed it, dug it off down the woods, halfway ate it. You don't know. That I built a tree stand a couple years ago down there in the woods. And it's about 18 feet in the air, and I measured on the side of that tree that I built it on where 9 feet was. And then I added about 3 or 4 feet for the arms. So I figured if I could stay above that, I'd be all right. So I built it up there. And I made it all out of cedar, kind of natural. Keep a natural look to it. Because I think they can sense metal. What was that?
I don't know. I heard it. It was like a faint call. Is that what you heard?
Yeah.
Okay. Same direction. Oh, that'd be cool if they did something. I'd be unpacking my stuff. I guess I'm not leaving today.
You don't know.
That'd be the best way, is just to sit out here every day. Even if it takes over a year, every day you're sitting out here with the equipment like I have. Because
Yeah.
just 1 or 2 nights, even a couple weeks, it's not enough.
Yeah,
Like
I
you
know.
have to be out here
Yeah.
all the
You
time.
got to let them know that you're here and you're not here to hurt or hunt them.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to kill them or anything like that. They've never done nothing to us. But sure would be neat to, see one. I mean, really see up close and all that. But all you ever see is like when they're going away or something like that. They're always on the move when you see them. That one behind that tree, it was moving back and forth. I mean, it knew like it was ready to go at any minute. If we
Mm-hmm.
would have took off across the creek, it would have left. It was on that you know that mode of I better go.
Yeah. When they smacked the camper, was it like right, like on the side that you guys were at?
It was on the driver's side, on the slide out side, between the slide out and the back of the camper. It's got a great big wide open, spot. painted, big area.
Yeah.
It hit hard.
Yeah, they slapped the side of my house 2 or 3 times when they were around. And that was my first thought too, was an owl flew and crashed into the side of the house because it was that big.
Yeah.
And the strange thing was they slapped the room that I was in about 7, 9 feet up. Like they could have slapped any part of the house, and it's like they knew where I was inside the house.
Yeah. Well, that was toward the bedroom. Bedroom, sink, shower area. It was right in that area, so it was on the back side of the camper. I mean, they could have hit anywhere on that camper, but why they hit there,
Yeah.
I don't know.
They
There's
could easily flip that camper over.
Oh, yeah. You see the size of that hand. After that, I tried to keep that, that spot, and it got to where it was so bad I washed it and it came off.
Adam got video of it, didn't he?
Yeah, you got video and pictures of it.
I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you don't know until you know.
Yeah, you doubted that these things exist. It was probably misidentification, and then you experienced it.
Well, Lisa's side of the family, I always say that there's only certain people that can see these things. But, the orbs, and stuff like that. There's only certain people that seem to be the ones that only get to see that. Well, her side of the family's always had that gift, or whatever you want, that calling, whatever you want to call it. And then my side of the family's the same way. So the boys have got a double dip of this, whatever it is, this calling. So they see more activity, more stuff, that nobody else is going to believe it or whatever. We've had a lot of things that's happened here that you can't explain, and it could be two people standing here, and one person say, "Did you see that orb?" Another person say, "No." And then the orb will come back by and it goes, "Did you see it then?" "No." It's like, "You didn't see it?" "No." I mean, there's been things. My oldest son, he said he sat here and they were camping, and one of his buddies had seen a white orb come right straight down this creek, and then it went shot straight up.
Wow.
He said it scared him so bad they left, came home.
At the killing fields, one of the last times I was there, me and the farmer were seeing orbs. They were flashing on, flashing off. Well, the last time, one of them turned on, and it was close to us. See that little O light that's sitting on top of that other light? It was on last night. It looks like a little light bulb. That thing lit up in the yard down there at the killing fields. It just turned on like a light bulb and sat there for like 30 seconds. And I kept asking David, "Do you see that? Do you see that?" No. No. He saw the ones before that, but he couldn't see it, and it was like right there from here to like that awning over there, the dock.
Wow.
Just sitting right there in the grass, just boom, like someone turned on a light bulb in the grass. It wasn't a lightning bug.
Well, I told Adam, Shelby, every night I'll go outside and I'll sit there and I'll stare up, because I've seen 3 in a triangle form go across here twice now. And they're 3, and they're just like a triangle. And they're not going fast. They go by, they're fast, but not like a plane, going, or a helicopter going by fast. They went by. And I've seen it twice in about the same area. And I was sitting out there, and I see one coming from this area, and it's going this way. And I am not lying. This thing turned on a headlight or something. I don't know what, and the whole top of the trees and everything lit up. And it stayed lit up for about 5 to 7 seconds, and then it just went off, and then it disappeared. I don't know what it was. I was saying it was like one of the satellites, but there ain't no satellite gonna shine a light down on the trees like that, and then just disappear.
That is strange.
Yeah, I told him about it, and it's one of the deals you see, and then it's over before you get your phone out of your pocket. Nobody's gonna believe me.
When I interviewed Jason down the road on the channel, he said that there were locals that said that in the remote parts of the Mark Twain around here, they've found entrances to like underground bases, and I've seen like crafts going in and out of them.
Huh.
But that was like back in the 70s or something.
Yeah. Well, I retired from being a miner. I don't know. I retired from I was a Herculaneum, and then research and development, and I ended up being underground and retiring. I could see something living underground. I mean, there's enough room underground where, you could have a whole city underground. I mean, it's a big, big area.
We're just on the top layer, and there's many layers down there.
And where I was under the water table, so all the water was going to my area, and it kind of got pumped up. But yeah, there's water. You can't drink the water because it's got too much emulsion in it from the dynamite. If it run long enough, you probably could. But you'd always rain in the same spot. Drip in the same spot, and you'd have a little bitty, we call it or calcium buildup on the rock, on the concrete, wherever, in the same spot where it dripped for years.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
What else can you think of? Have you ever had any experiences when you've been out in the woods hunting, turkey hunting, deer hunting, anything?
It's funny you said that. Not far from here, I was deer hunting. Get out there in the woods, and it was dark, November. And I tell this, and it sounds stupid, but it's the truth. I was in my tree stand, and it was a regular ladder stand, leaned up against a tree, and I was sitting up there in my little chair and looking over this valley, and the fog came in, and it was all at once. This fog started coming in, and it was coming from the right going to the left, and it looked like people, like clouds of people and their legs walking through the woods. I mean, there was like 7 or 8 different things going through the woods, and they went right on down, went right on up, and they went through the woods. And I was like, I just sit there, and if a turkey would have came off the roost or something like that, if that would happen, I would have jumped out of that tree stand. I was so scared. I mean, I was being real quiet, and I seen that thing that just came down through there, and went down in the bottom, and they came back up, and they're just like legs coming down. You can see the arms and the head and all of them, all like one big long thing, and it's all together going down through there. Scary. That kind of freaked me out. I've never seen that before.
What about on the river? You and Lisa saw, was it a clan? A group of them?
Well, I'll tell you what, one night we were sitting there in the bedroom. I hear this. It was nighttime. It was about 11 o'clock at night. I hear this turkey. And it sounds just like a turkey, out there. You've heard them, they're go, 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 go. And I'm like, go, 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 go. Like, that's a turkey. So I opened the window up, and I was sitting there. Adam's got it. I videotaped it, and we were sitting there listening. Go, go, go. It's getting closer and closer. And at the end, when it got a little closer, when it got done gobbling, they could hear it like growl. Not like a turkey would, the way they do that. It would like a like that. And then and it was getting louder. I shut the window, and then you can still hear it. I mean, it was really loud, and it just quit. I was like, I don't know what that was, but it was. I don't know. That was the weirdest sound I ever heard. It sounded like a turkey at night. I've never seen a turkey gobble at night at 11 o'clock at night and then growl like a dog, you know. And
I've heard similar, but with owls. Like they'll do their calls
really,
and then do like the growls at the end.
no, this did not know hoot. It was like a
Yeah.
turkey.
That's what I'm saying. They're mimicking animals, wildlife.
That's what I was saying about the little puppy.
Uh-huh.
Whatever is here can imitate things to get you to come into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got kids here, you know, and let's say a puppy, yeah, let's make a little puppy sound. That way the kids come there looking for a little puppy that's lost. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at how many kids are disappearing these days. Scary.
It's a good point. Maybe some of the missing people followed a noise that they thought was maybe like a baby crying, a puppy, maybe one of their family members or someone calling their name. And then they're never
Well,
seen
you know,
again.
here's the crazy thing. We went up to Washington. You know, we'd stop at gas stations, you know, and everybody up there is, you know, Native American, you know. And they got those great big, you know, missing kids things on the walls. And they got pictures and pictures and pictures of these 13, 12, 9, 8, 15, you know, these kids. They're all Native American have come up missing.
Yeah.
Can't find them. Every gas station was like that.
Do the natives think that it's the cryptid creatures
I don't know.
responsible for the
I
kids?
didn't want to ask.
Yeah.
You know, but every gas station, every place we stopped at that was like that, they had the whole wall was lit up with missing children.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anywhere from 6 to 18, 19 years old, boys and girls.
So a lot of missing people in Washington State.
And they're all Native American. You know, there was just all Native American. You know, when you go through there, it's, you know, you're going through their territory anyway. You know, and I was like, man, you know, you go in Walmart, you see their little signs up, but man, there's a lot of kids that's missing.
There is.
Well, where in the world? What's going on? You know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
How was the Bigfoot conference in Washington?
it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to meet Jeff Meldrum?
Yep. Talked to him for a while. He's a nice man. Really, really smart person. He knows quite a bit. And yeah, I'd like to see him come down here and just walk through these woods at night.
Yeah, I want to see him do that too.
I just want to see him walk down through there, you know, at about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. That's the other thing.
Big fish splashed?
I don't know what it was.
Or was something thrown?
At about 3 o'clock every morning, we wake up. Every morning. From either 5 till 3 to about 5 after 3. It's like clockwork. Me and Lisa get up. I don't know why. It's been like that for a long time. Probably a year. And I don't know why we're doing it. You know, it's like we just wake up and sometimes I can go back to sleep. Sometimes I can't. You know, I might be up from 3 o'clock till I go to bed that night, you know, but
Maybe something's out there.
I don't know why I mean, it just wakes us up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and I just look at your watch, you know, it's like 3 o'clock. Yep. Every day. It's like getting to be a normal thing.
Yeah. What do they call it? Witching hour or dead
Don't
time?
know. The dead hour. Yeah. It's like, it's time to wake up and look out the window. You might see something. I ain't looking out there. It might be something I don't want to see, you know.
Oh yeah, it's creepy at 3 in the morning out in the woods.
Yes, yeah, I'm surprised Lisa didn't mention it on her interview, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it happens. Happened last night. I was up at 3 o'clock. Yeah,
About the time I was going to bed.
I was wondering if you guys are still up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was like, I wonder if they're still out there running around there. Good luck.
Oh, let me tell you, it was creepy going down that trail last night. Dark, evil feeling.
I could take you right where you feel the dark eerie feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there where that tire used to be, where the rock's laying.
That's where it was, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why that's like that.
Yeah. Now I want to stick around and find out.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I built that tree stand, you know, and I have no desire to walk out there in the woods when it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
I won't go in those woods when it's like that by myself. Me and Shelby went down there to the Catfish Hole one night. He had a flashlight, I had mine, and I just charged it, and I was doing good. We got down there, and you know, I looked at it, that gun battery's going dead on my phone, on my light. And then we heard something holler, and I said, we gotta go. I said, I ain't gonna stay out here, my light going, I ain't gonna, It was lit up enough to where you could walk, but I ain't gonna go down,
Mm-hmm.
Ain't gonna do it, not gonna do it.
It's weird how your batteries just die when you're out there and that stuff's
Yeah,
happening.
it happens every dadgum time. Happens to Adam. He'll have all his batteries charged up. He'll go down there and he done that live video, and he'll be down here. I've seen his phone. It'd be fully charged, and he'll be talking, and you'll come down this area, and that one night, this is so weird. They were right in here, and he said my dadgum phone's going dead, and you could see like a mist come through here.
Oh yeah, I saw that on the video. That was weird. It looked like someone walked past the camera.
Yeah, and the phones, the lights, everything was dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it zaps all the energy.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens to me all the time. Kind of strange.
Yeah.
Especially when stuff's happening, that's when the batteries die.
Yeah, yeah. I know. Right when you need it the worst, you know, they're the best time you could use it is when everything goes to crap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, phones go dead, the lights go dead, the car won't start.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they was up on top of that mountain.
That would be scary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you think these creatures are? Beings, people, what do you think they are?
I don't know. I think they've been here for a very long time. And with people building houses, you know, they're moving from the cities and they're buying land and they're building houses. And these beings, Bigfoot, whatever they are, their backyards getting smaller. They're getting smaller, people building, and they are getting less and less room to move. And that's the reason why people are starting to see more of them, because their stomping grounds getting smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I hope it never happens, but at some point they're going to get mad because of what's going on, you know, and they might let us know. It's not good.
Sounds like they already are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, when I was growing up, somebody said they'd seen a big monkey in the woods. You know, this is in the Ironton area. And Mom and Dad always said, yeah, probably a orangutan or something escaped from the circus or something. And that's what they're seeing. You know. Then I remember one time when I was a kid. Yeah, I grew up poor. I just didn't know it. You know, I thought I was the richest kid in town. I didn't know it. Didn't know I was that poor until I got older. But I remember one night, Dad comes in there, and the house we lived in was like a 4-room house, 4 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it was all equal, same size. And I was in this one here, and he comes in there and he says, "Get on the floor, get out of bed, and get on the floor." And when Dad says something like that, something's up, you know. So I get down on the floor, and I'm like, he said, "Be quiet, be quiet." We're being real quiet, and being a kid that I am, very curious, you know what's going on, you know. So I get up and I look out the window, and the house was up high. You know, it was an old rock house, and the window was way up high, probably, I don't know, a good 12 feet, you know. And I look out and I look down, and Miguel, I'm telling you, I seen something that was tall, it was black, and it was leaned forward, and it was walking down the hill. It was going from the right, the house was on a hill, and the yard was kind of downhill. And my grandma, my granny, she lived next to us, so it was in between our house and her house. And it was right, right there. I looked down and I seen it. And it was like this, and it was walking down, and it was real slow, and it kind of freaked me out. I thought, a big bear, you know, so I got that back down to the floor. Next day, I told my dad, I said, I seen that bear. He said, you didn't see no bear. I said, I seen a bear outside. He kind of looked at me like, well, maybe you did, son, maybe you did, and left it at that. And I remember that as plain as day. Just looking down there, seeing that big dadgum black thing, and it was walking down through there. So then, being a kid, it was a bear. Now that I'm grown up, I seen that was not a bear. I'm telling you, I've seen bear, you know. And when we was in Washington, I seen a black bear. That, what I seen there was no bear. It was, I don't know what it was. It was tall, black, hairy, and had silver eyes.
Sounds like a squatch.
So you see the pictures of them all the time. That's exactly what I seen. You know, there's no doubt about it. It was something, and it wasn't here to hurt anybody. You know, it was just, I don't know what it was doing, just walking in the woods.
These things are out there, they exist, and people need to accept it.
Yep. Yep. The more people accept that there is something in the woods that looks like that, I think the better off they'll be. The more they'll be accepted. You know, I don't think there needs to be some kind of a reward to get one. Just leave them alone, and they'll leave you alone. You know, they're not here to. If there was, as big as they are, if they wanted to hurt you, you'd be hurt. There's no doubt about that. But they're not. They're living their life. They got a family. You know, I think there's a family that lives in here. Not sure how many kids they got, but I know that they're here. And there's a lot of wildlife in here. There's cats. There's dogs. There's wild hogs. There's turkey, deer, you name it. They got enough to eat. Plus, all the wild, blackberries and strawberries, all that's in the woods too.
There's a lot of mussels in there, a lot of fish, different species of fish. We caught a bunch of fish
Yeah,
this past week.
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of them like you said, they hang around the waterways. They really do. They got to have the water. Now, a buddy of mine said he seen one that was standing in the creek down there in the water.
Really?
It was like 105 degrees and it was hot. He said he was coming home from work, looked up there, and there it was, standing in the creek. All that hair, they got to be hot. And maybe it's like insulation. And I always wondered, we go in the woods, we got to have the deep woods off and everything else on. What's keeping them from getting all these diseases? And
I've seen videos of primates and they pick the bugs off each other. Wonder if these things do.
and eat them?
Yeah. Or they know the right remedy to keep bugs off.
Yeah, they smell like crap. Only things they got to worry about is flies swarming them, not the mosquitoes.
Yeah, you never know.
They stink. Whew. We've smelt that several times here. Me and Shelby walked out one night, and dogs just raising Cain, and we're like, what is going on? So we walked outside to see what they're barking at, and we smelt it. It smelled like that rot awful smell and a skunk. And it just comes and goes. So it's close. Where it's at, he could have been standing there staring at us right next to us. We wouldn't have seen it. It was right in here. could have been down here, but you know, that's the other thing. I never smelt nothing when we seen that one with the silver eye. Never smelt nothing.
Yeah, the ones
But
I've seen, I never smelled anything. But there's been times where I smelled something unknown. Smelled like rotten flesh. What are you gonna do if these things do turn out to be hostile, dangerous?
I don't know. I don't know. I think
Have
they'll
you
be.
thought about that? I think you have, because you got the
Yeah.
4570 back there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not for sure if that's even a. I need 4.5 or 4.6, whatever it takes. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but
I hope that never happens. But
I
if you
don't.
see that wolf creature on two legs,
Yeah.
man, I
Yeah.
don't know what you're gonna do if
It's
that
left
thing comes
foot
back.
that the 3-pronged footprint that left in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that Shelby seen looking around at him, seeing whatever it was that Sabrina seen in the woods. I mean, yeah, it's. I don't know. That's a whole different ball game. That thing.
Yeah.
I think we got a little bit of the Sasquatches, and I think we got something that's demonic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've said this before. When Rita was alive, she was very faithful to God, very. And this, whatever this thing is, knows that she's gone now. So that's the reason why he's trying to get back in here a little bit. And we may have to bless this ground again, because she would get the holy water, she would bless the ground and, you know, see some verses out of the Bible
Mm-hmm.
and mean it. And that's what's going to take. You know, and it's trying to get back in here, trying to scare us, you know. It ain't working, right? You know,
They
we've told
thrive
it.
off of fear.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Once they get your fear, you know, they're a fear monger, you know, so they, uh, they thrive on that. And the more fear and the more hate and the more dishonesty, they thrive on that. It's like being a, you know, a politician.
Mm-hmm.
But you can take that out if you want.
No, I'm leaving it in there.
Uh,
You know there's something out here, and you get that feeling when you walk out of that camper.
yeah,
You're out here at night, you feel something's not right.
yeah, yeah. I'll be out here and I'll yeah, you get that fear, you know. And I've always had that, you know, like you be in a crowd of people. It don't matter, ball game, you know, middle of Walmart. It don't matter, and you get this feeling like get you get this feeling of somebody's watching you or looking at you, and you look right at them, and they're looking at you. You ever do that?
Yeah.
You know, I do that a lot. It's like I know they're, you know, I just look right straight at them, and that's what you feel like you're out here. You come out here and you get that feeling like somebody's looking at you, but you don't know where to look.
Mm-hmm.
That little Satchmo here, he lets me know that there's something in the woods that he don't like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he'll let me know.
I told you guys last night I heard something hit the camper twice. And
Our
then
camper?
no, the older one right
Oh
there
yeah.
by the deck. And when you guys let out Chevelle, the dog, she was barking. In that same direction too. And then Adam smelled something. Said it smelled like rotten socks.
Oh yeah, he did. I remember him saying that. Yeah. Yeah, it does. It smells that soured. I don't even know what you want to. I don't even know what's. You can put it all together and say it just stinks, but it smells terrible. I mean like it needs a bath and it needs to change his underwear. You know, it just. I mean it. Whew. Yeah, it just stinks. It,
The skunk ape.
yeah. I think they smell like that to keep the bugs off of them. You know, they're so bad even the mosquitoes won't bite them. You know, I might be wrong. Ain't that right, Satchmo?
All right, Tim. Well, I appreciate you for sharing your experiences. It definitely gives me some more insight as to what's happened on this property and what's lurking around these woods.
Like I said before, something's leaving them footprints. Something is throwing the rocks, putting the big rocks in the trees, making the limbs fall out of the trees that there's no reason for them to even do that. I mean, it's something.
Make peace with them. Bless the land. Keep that 4570 close.
Yeah, side it in a little bit.
I'm going home. Good luck. But I
Well,
got them up there too,
yeah,
so
that's
I
what you
can't get
said.
away from them.
Like I said, their yards are getting smaller,
Mhm.
so people are going to start seeing more of them.
I'd rather live around these things though and be tormented than live in the city.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not. Like Lisa said, I'm not afraid of them. I'm more afraid of the people.
Mm.
Because I think you can trust them, but I don't think you can trust people like you used to. You never know.
Oh, yeah.
I might be wrong. But
You're not wrong.
yeah, they're not here to bother you. They're just here.
Mm-hmm.
You just stick stuff out there. I don't think feeding them with food, I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think gifting them things that you think they'll like who knows, they'd be amazed by a bottle cap,
Mm-hmm.
or, a feather off of a, blackbird or something, something that they can relate to that like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But food, they don't need the preservatives,
Mm-hmm.
like it was killing us. But ain't that right, Satchmo? Hmm?
All right, Tim. I appreciate you, man.
Yep.